All right, so periodicity, or I like to just think of it as the periodic table. I think there's too fancy of a word. So you're probably wondering why we've just jumped around. 1.1 also talks about how the position of the periodic table can tell us about the chemical physical properties. So why have we jumped all the way to 1.3? Well, really important that 1.3 sort of talks about the periodic table, and I feel like when we were I was looking over these slides and I was discussing it, we kind of need to go through this first. So we kind of need to go through what is the periodic table and what is going on with the periodic table prior to sort of the mentioning of periodic table as part of our sort of unit of module 1.1. It's sort of badly planned out. So that's why we've sort of pulled this forward. So as you can see here, this is what a typical label in the periodic table is. So I'm hoping you've seen a periodic table before. I'll grab up, this is the VCE chemistry data booklet. So you get given this in exams. You get a similar thing in the HSC exams, but a little bit different. This is the periodic table they give you in that. So notice how these labels, so let me find carbon's over here. This is the carbon label, very similar to this, although a little bit less in detail. Your one that you get will also be like the one that I have got up here. But as you can see here, it's carbon 12. It says 6 carbon, it says 6 and then C and then 12 and then carbon. So essentially the C refers to carbon. The 12 is the relative atomic mass, which we'll discuss, and the 6 is the atomic number. And there's some of the things that you're going to need to know when going through this. So this is a periodic table. This is a really big and massive periodic table. Now, Isabel went through and highlighted the molecules that you will need to know, or the atoms that you will need to know, the elements that you will need to know. These are the ones you need to know. You have hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, nitrogen, sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium. You've got iron, you've got copper, silver, gold, zinc. You've got beryllium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, helium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, and argon. So you will learn all that. And as you can see, sometimes it takes me a little bit more to process. It does happen. I've been going through chemistry since 2016 when I started doing Unit 1-2 chemistry, or Year 10 chemistry. And then 2017 I did Unit 1-2, which is preliminary chemistry. 2018 I did 3-4 chemistry. I've been doing chemistry since 2016. It's nearly a decade at this point, which is a very long time. It's still, at times, I have to sit back and go, all right, what is that? What is that again? What is that? It's that. And it does take time. It takes looking at this loads and loads to know what's going on. Now, I couldn't tell you the order of this now. It's something that I tutor yet. I couldn't tell you the order of this. I couldn't tell you the order up to 20. I had to learn that at year 11 level. I couldn't tell you that now. At your level, you should learn that. But if you don't, that's okay. You can get away with it. You get given the periodic table in all of your exams and all of your SACs, of your tests, etc. That's just what comes up. You get given this. So that's why, for me, I just think it's not as big a deal as what it's made out to be. And I think that's a really important thing. So as you can see here, these are the sort of molecules, atoms. I should say atoms. These are the atoms you need to know. Now, all these atoms fall into different sort of sections. And notice how this periodic table sort of has a sort of structure to it. It's a bit different, but it has a bit of a structure. As you can see here, you've got hydrogen and all of these sort of non-metals. You've got halogens, so halogens all fall in one group. You've got noble gases all fall in one group. And then you've got all your metals here. And these are also metals, but they're called transition metals. They're still metals, but they're called transition metals. So metals are usually here. You see this yellow line here. This yellow line indicates where metals stop. So everything on the left is metals except for hydrogen. And then all of these are non-metals plus hydrogen. Hydrogen is not a metal. It's its own thing. It's a little bit different. Notice how we call things groups and periods. So periods run across. So this is period 1 all the way to here. Period 2 runs here. Period 3 runs here. Now, periods refer to valence electron shells. That's going to sound like a very weird wording. We're going to learn about it soon, so do not worry. And then groups, these refer to sort of, they don't really refer to anything chemically, but they have points where they discuss what's going on. So your group sort of have similar properties chemically and physically at times, and that will sort of tell you what's going on. So really important, this sort of periodic table is like you're going to be looking at these a lot. You're not expected to know how to draw one out. You're not expected to memorize it. Please do not. It's a waste of time, but you will go through these. Now, as you can see here, groups are the vertical columns. 2 letters that reach downwards is a way of remembering it. You can just end up remembering it. I don't think you need some fancy way of remembering it. Periods are horizontal rows because they only have 1 letter that reaches downwards, so it's less. Look, if that helps you, go ahead and use it. If it doesn't, don't stress yourself with it. I don't think it's necessary for you to be utilizing little tools like that to remember it. I think you can remember it without it. Groups tend to share similar characteristics. So as you can see there, as I talked about, the groups, the vertical ones, they do sort of share similar characteristics. The periods, it's all about your sort of valence electrons. The groups we are concerned about are the alkyl earth metals, transition metals, halogens, and noble gases. These last 2 are ones that you'll know really well. These first 2 you'll sort of know a little bit about, but it's not a really big deal. Halogens and noble gases, really cool.